Alrighty folks, well, we're taking a short run up to a little town called Dumfries, Virginia. There's a little place called Rosies. It's a little casino in there. I'm gonna see what my luck is gonna be like in there. Maybe. We'll see. But this is a beautiful day. And I just thought I'd bring you along for the ride. Hell, I gotta see if I can clean that window up a little bit. Let's do a little bit of spritz. There we go. See if I can smear some stuff across it for you. You're welcome. But we're just chilling. Just chilling out. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. I finally got out in it. I got my exercises done about, what was it, 2:30? I meant to get them suckers done at like 7 o'clock this morning, but just didn't come about. Nice lazy day. You gotta learn to, well, I'm not gonna tell you what you gotta do, but I gotta learn to enjoy them, you know? Because you can work yourself to death and it ain't gonna make no difference to nobody, you know? You gotta be able to put it into like second gear and just chill out for a little while, you know? Man, it's pretty. These people with these big yards and they cut their grass in patterns, they do a nice job. I think it's really nice. Yes, it would be nice if I turned the camera so you could see it, but sorry, I'm busy driving. And I'm not gonna be doing a bunch of camera moving. I'm gonna let this race car go. I got a guy pulling in behind me here. I'm gonna let him go. He can go. There you go. There he goes. Alright, the race car can go. And he's gone too. He's got a nice little Acura. I think it's not an RL. I forget what the hell that car is. But they're nice cars. He's got his lowered. Yeah, I like the look of a lowered car, but every lowered car, because they got to have heavier springs, and because to lower them, they've got to take up suspension travel, they ride harder. And I'm just not going to do that. I mean, I like a car that rides pretty smooth. I'll tell you, one of the best riding four-cylinder cars I ever rode in, and we owned it, was a Hyundai Sonata. It was like I think it was a 2007 Hyundai Sonata. And that car, when I hopped in it and drove away from the dealership south down Route 1, I said, oh my God, this thing rides like a Cadillac. And it was a good running little car, but my wife just did not like it. She just did not like it. She, I don't think, well, it wasn't a Honda, for one. And, I mean, it would go, to me, it had plenty of pickup, but she said it didn't have a lot of pickup. And it was a car that if you drove it hard, that sumbitch would burn gas. It would guzzle gas. But if you drove it easy, that thing would get, I got a trip, and this is no joke, I got a trip going up to we went up to a casino up in Maryland, way up above Baltimore. I forget the name of Pinewood or something like that. And it was funny when we got there because it was so disappointing. All it was a warehouse with a bunch of rows of slot machines in rows. There was no investment in the experience at all, you know. It just looked awful, you know. But on that trip, I drove it real easy, and I got 38 miles to the gallon of gas. I could not believe it. I had to double check the figures like 3 times. And so I liked that car. I thought it was a good car. Real solid. It was the body style that looked like a Mercedes. I got some compliments on that car too, because we got new Michelins on it, and it was just stock, but it was really clean. It was really a good looking car, but my wife hated it. And this was when Hyundai and Kia was coming aboard and they were really improving their products. And I tried to be nice, and we traded that. Her number one complaint was gas mileage. She says it doesn't get good gas mileage. So I looked around, and the Kia Rio was a car that on paper got really good gas mileage. And so we traded it in, we got one of those. And that was one of the worst cars we've ever owned in our life. The day the salvage company came for that car, I was very happy to see it go. I was very happy to see that car out of our yard and out of our life forever. I'll never own another Kia for the rest of my life because of that car. But anyway, that was a nice car. That Hyundai was a nice car. That Sonata. Man, what a ride. They got everything right with that car. And that was with they had, they're called Kumho Solus, S-O-L-U-S, I forget, 71 tires, I think is what they were. And they rode beautifully, and they did okay in the rain, but in the snow, they were absolutely horrendous. I mean, horrendous. And I think that was another reason my wife wanted to get rid of the car, because she just said it had traction control in it. But what the traction control would do is, as soon as the tire started slipping, it would cut power to the wheel. So you couldn't cut your way through even the slightest frost heave on the road. The tire would start spinning, the engine would cut power to the tire. I was like going, who in the hell makes something like this? This makes no sense. The car wouldn't pull itself over the slightest, smallest little frost heave in the road. And so we got rid of it. And then we got the Red Rolling Nightmare. Oh my God, I hated that car. Now, the reason I hated the car was because it was actually a very good car. It was a very good car. But the electronics in it were absolute garbage. I mean, absolutely horrendous. So it would run good one week, and then the next week it would cost us $500, $700. You know, and you could never trust it. I mean, I drove it up to Chantilly, and I swear to God, that car, I was never so happy to see a car go. And the funny part was that the car had been sitting for, I want to say, about 4 months in our backyard, unstarted. And the dude that came to pick it up, he brought this huge jump battery for the car. And this jump battery was like 2 car batteries in one. And he hooked that sucker up, and that car cranked up like it was brand new, and it ran like it was brand new. And the car had an almost brand new battery in it, so it wasn't the battery. I think it was the total amount of available power in the system. I think that somewhere in there was a wire that maybe it was a ground wire, or there was a choke wire. You know, there's a wire that somewhere there just wasn't enough flow to the computer to make it run right. And I think with 2 batteries, it might have actually been a car worth owning. But you know, we've owned Hondas, Toyotas, and Nissans, and we've had good service out of all 3. We had a Nissan pickup truck that was great. We had 2 Hondas that were great. We had a Toyota that was great. Had 2 Toyotas that were great, actually. And I mean, I don't need a race car. I need a car that cranks up every day and it gets fairly decent gas mileage. And the red Honda we have now, and the white Honda we had before, and the little Toyota Echo we had, and the Nissan pickup truck we had, which was a 4-cylinder, All those vehicles fit the bill perfectly. And the basis of all those 4 cars was a naturally aspirated, non-turbocharged 4-cylinder. And the engines in the Toyota and the 2 Hondas, those are big 4-cylinders for today. But they had enough torque to pull those big cars just like a V6. And they got, if you drove them easy, if you drive those cars easy, like this car I'm driving right now, if I drive it easy, it'll get over 30 miles to the gallon of gas. And I'm happy with that. Plus with a car that gets out on the interstate, and I am not at any point am I ever short of power. I mean, I've never topped this car out because I don't want to go to jail. But it's been pretty damn fast. It runs pretty damn good. It still runs good today. It runs better now that all that I run in it is premium. I've always run premium in it, but I've ran premium like every other tank. But I just run premium in it now all the time because it just runs so much more silent. It runs quiet. It pulls better. It drives better. I don't have to give it half as much throttle to get it to move. It just runs a lot better. So it's worth it to me. Honestly, putting premium in the car makes me drive it easier. That sounds stupid, but it's actually the truth because with regular in it, it just has a lot less low end. When you come off a light, pulling itself off a light, it just has a lot less low end power. Oh, here we go. Here's a policeman there. He's going around somebody. Here comes a policeman here. Where's he going? He ain't going after that guy, is he? Let's see if we got another policeman coming down here. Yep, here we go. Sure enough. There they go. We got a really good police department in our county, Stafford County. They work hard, they try to get to you to help you. When my wife was sick, they were crucial about 4 times. Here comes another, oh, this is an ambulance. Here comes another cop. Here comes another ambulance. There's a fire engine, this cop, and this ambulance. I tell you right there what it was, car accident down here somewhere, a bad one. But my wife, thanks to a reaction to a medicine she had in this hospital, we're passing right now, actually. This is Stafford Hospital. It's a good hospital. The people try, you know, I mean, everybody's got limitations, you know. I mean, when you're working for an HMO, they have a certain method of treatment. Here comes another cop. And it's a busy day. But they do the best they can, but unfortunately in my wife's case, my wife had been being poisoned by sucralose, and we didn't know it. And she had became very dehydrated because she wouldn't drink water. The only thing she could drink was the sucralose that was in, it was in white label Diet Pepsi at the time, and she loved Pepsi. That was her thing, was a Diet Pepsi and a bag of chips. You know, the most unhealthy thing you could possibly consume for a diabetic, but that was her thing. And her mom had raised her with Pepsis and Cokes from the time she was a baby. So for a person that dealt with so much depression like my wife did, it was a comfort food for her, you know. Well, long story short, they changed the formulation of the Diet Pepsi, and they went to sucralose. And nobody had said anything about sucralose being a poison. We didn't know anything about that. Well, anyway, about 3 years after they went to sucralose, my wife stopped drinking water, and she got dehydrated bad. so many times. I took her in 2017. I took her to urgent care like 3 times to get a bag of saline put into her to rehydrate her. And I talked to her. I said, "Hey, honey, we got water." And it just, something about it was the sucralose was causing her to not want to drink water, and I think it was discomfort in her stomach. But now she could drink the Diet Pepsi with the sucralose just fine. She could drink that all day long. And that's kind of like a Satan's kind of thing, you know, get you addicted to sucralose. The shit is poisoning you, and that's the only thing you can drink. So anyway, she went in the hospital. They were trying to track down what was causing the dehydration, and they thought that it was potentially some of her heart medicines. So they changed her heart medicine, and unfortunately they put her on a heart medicine called isosorbide mononitrate, which is contraindicated in anybody who has glaucoma or anybody who may be a diabetic, and it made her go blind in about 3 weeks. She literally got cataracts so bad she could barely see in about 3 weeks. But the worst part about that was, and I actually petitioned the doctor, I said something, and my wife said something. She said, "Phil, I'm getting to where I can't see." And I talked to the doctor about the mess. I said, "Look, she's never had this problem on the old medicines you had her on. Can we please put her back on the old medicines?" And she said, "Yeah, sure, go ahead and do that." So we went back on the old medicines, and it stopped. The degradation stopped. But not before she could see about 4 feet ahead of her, and after 4 feet, all she could see was blur. But in the midst of that, she was in the hospital, and they gave her a drug called Reglan, and the Reglan, she had a reaction to it, and it freaking attacked her brain, and it messed her up horrendously. She forgot where she was at. She thought she was back in Fort Belvoir Hospital working in the bookkeeping office. She didn't realize she was in the Stafford Hospital. It really messed up her brain, and we spent years getting that situation corrected. But anyway, and she never fully got over that. I mean, whatever that Reglan did to her brain, man, it was, I think it was August 4th, 2017. I believe that was August 4th, 2017, because I was there when the nurse put the Reglan into her IV line. I saw her put the Reglan in, and within 10 minutes my wife started hallucinating. And I went out to the hallway. I said, "Man, what did you put in there? What did you do?" She said, "All I did was put Reglan into her line." I said, "What is that?" She said, "What's for nausea?" And boy, she just, Jesus Christ, it fucked up her whole life. And that on top of changing the heart medicines and making her blind in 3 fucking weeks, that created so much problems for us for the next year and a half. She got cataract surgery. They scheduled it for her 5 months later. That's what the backlog was at Kaiser. But now look, she got it done. The doctors did a beautiful job. They brought her vision back. They actually saved her life. They didn't understand when I told them this. I said, "You know, you guys saved my wife's life." Because she was blind. She could not reorient her brain back to reality. She was seeing shit that was blurs, and she was thinking it was me when in fact it was other people. And she was having so many psychiatric problems in those months that we tried to get her to get psychiatric treatment. And in one situation, the doctor came in, and the psychiatric doctor came in with 2 young women that were kind of like his arm candy. And I was just, I looked at it, I said, "I can't believe this shit," you know, how a doctor would do this, you know. He was walking around with his 2 squeezes, seeing patients. Well, When he saw my wife saw a blur at the end of the bed. My wife didn't see the doctor. My wife saw me with my 2 squeezes. She thought I was screwing around on her. When in fact it was the damn psychiatric doctor with his 2 squeezes. And that created a big problem that night for them. And they hit her with a Halidol. Well, I think it might have been Halperidol. It's one of those drugs that knocks a person out. Anyway, long story short, it was a nightmare. I don't know why I got on this subject on this beautiful day, but you know, people would say, why didn't you sue him? I didn't sue him because nobody told them that the sucralose was hurting anyone. I had to go back through where in the hell this all started and realize that, hey, there's this damn sucralose. That was the only thing my wife changed in her diet before she started having problems with dehydration. And we got her off the sucralose, and it took 2 damn months. It actually took about 7 weeks. And one of the most wonderful nights was when she said, Phil, I think I'll take a bottle of that water. I think I'll take a bottle of that water, that cold water. And she opened it up. She didn't drink the whole thing. She drank like about a third of it. She said, that is really good. I said, oh my God, thank you, Lord, so much. And she started drinking water again, and she got better. But she never stopped drinking the Diet Pepsi with the aspartame in it, because I couldn't get her to stop drinking the Diet Pepsi. She was 100% addicted to that stuff. And we found a Diet Pepsi that had the aspartame in it. We went back on that, and she was getting better. But it was kind of strange, because when she would have periods where she'd go in the hospital, and she'd get way better, and then she'd come out. And I never put 2 and 2 together. Well, when she'd come out the hospital, she started drinking the Diet Pepsi again. And then her health would take a dive. And then she'd be back in the hospital again. You know, I was, all the time that she was with me, I never wanted to be the dictator. We were in this together, you know. We were in this for her to survive. And I'm telling you, her brain, all the way up until the bad strokes happened after the 2 shots, her brain, when she was well, was sharp as a tack. And that was something, even today, even right now, even as I talk to you in this video, I thank the good Lord for every day that she was mentally sharp. And there was a lot of them. She didn't have long periods of problems, and that was kind of heartbreaking, because, you know, you could see that she could get better, but I never put 2 and 2 together about the Pepsi. I never thought that the Diet Pepsi was causing it. But I mean, when she started, she turned up with AFib after the 2 shots. I mean, the second shot, she had the first shot, she didn't have any problems. The second shot turned her intestines off. She couldn't take a number 2. She had to take powerful laxatives. And the damn doctors, man, they, you know, when a doctor looks at you and they think they can hammer you like you're everybody else, they don't do you a service, you know? They've got to realize that even though a woman's 240 pounds, maybe her insides are pretty well baked, which means that every medicine you give her might be 10 times stronger than what her body weight says, you know? But anyway, she wound up turning up with AFib, which is a irregular heartbeat. And they got really, really concerned about blood clots. So they were going to put her on Pradaxa, which is a blood thinner. And, you know, after the second shot and she stopped pooping, right then I said, I got to quit work. Right then. I said, you know what? I got to quit work. something's going on. And I had done an investigation for like 4 months before we went in and got the shots. The only reason she got the shots was because the doctor said to her one time, I'm not even supposed to see you without you having the vaccines. That's why she got the shots. The reason I got the one Johnson & Johnson I got was because my employer was absolutely begging me to get the shot, because he was getting pressured. They were getting pressured from the government to force all their people to get the shot. And I'd worked there for 20 years, and it was understood that if you didn't get the shot, you wouldn't be doing a lot of working. And in the middle of all this, my wife is sick. I'm trying to get her care. I can't afford to lose my job. She can't afford to lose her benefits because she's already been retired for 10 years fighting a stroke, the consequences of a stroke. And she had been doing okay. You know, it would have been up and down. We'd been through the nightmares, but I was hoping we could get over the hump and we could get her better, you know? But man, when those 2 shots came on board, that was the end of it. And she got AFib, and they put her on Pradaxa, and she got 2 good days on Pradaxa. I mean, I couldn't believe the improvement. Really, it was night and fucking day when the Pradaxa came on board. Her legs, where her legs looked like they had bruises on them, they got like skin colored and healthy. She started feeling better. She started talking better. And she actually said to me, Phil, I think I need to stop drinking these Diet Pepsi. I said, honey, I'll throw them all away. I'll throw them all away. And she smiled at me, and she was having 2 good days, and then she went to the bathroom, and there was blood around her poop. And a couple hours later, she went to the bathroom again, and the toilet looked like it was full of blood. And my wife said, I don't want to go to the hospital. I said, honey, I can't take you off of these blood thinners. I can't do that. If I do that, I'll kill you. I can't do that. We've got to get doctors to see what's going on and let them work on you about this. So I got her. She had her little Tweety Bird shirt on. You see in the chair that's in the videos where I exercise. She had the Tweety Bird shirt on, and she loved that little shirt. And she got in the wheelchair to go in the ambulance because Kaiser doctor authorized an ambulance. They rolled her into the ambulance. I think she stepped out of the wheelchair into the ambulance. I don't remember. But the last time she ever got up out of anything was when she got up out of the wheelchair in the hospital and got into the bed. That was the last time she ever moved on her own. And she spent 2 months fighting to come back. And this was in the middle of the COVID fucking madness. So only one person could go see her. And they would only let one person see her at a time. She'd never had COVID. She went into hospital. She got COVID in the damn hospital. And it just went downhill from there. But she came home. She died holding my hand. I was holding her hand. She wasn't holding anything. But I was holding her hand. And I couldn't look at her face. I couldn't look in her eyes. I didn't want that to be the last thing I remembered of my wife. But I held her hand as she passed away. And God came and got her. If I had it to go over again, we would have never been drinking sodas. We would have been fasting. we'd have just done a lot of things differently. And her job, I'd have been a lot more responsive. I just told her, quit that fucking job. Quit that fucking government job. You don't owe that fucking job shit. We'll lose our retirement. Don't worry about it, honey. Come on out and do something that you like to do. Be around people that you like to be around. But this is all wishful thinking because she's gone. So the reason the channel exists is so that you listen to my words. And if you're in the same situation, if you got a wife that's working her butt off, if you have a wife that's driving down the road and she drives up underneath the back of trucks on the interstate and she drives real close and she freaks you out, the reason she's doing that is she can't see. But she wants to be independent. She wants to still drive. So if she's doing that, you need to see about getting her eyes checked out, getting her health checked out. And if she's working at a job that just fucking tears her soul to pieces, for God's sakes, help her get away from it, you know? But I don't know. You know, it's too late now. But I will never, ever, ever be ungrateful to God for having Wanda in my life. I absolutely loved her, and I tried, but it just wasn't meant to be. And I have some anger at the people that brought certain things to our shores and hurt so many people, but that's between me and God and those people. And I leave all that to God, because money can never protect you from the vengeance of the Lord. Never. And God is almighty and all-knowing in his judgments. And who knows, he might slam me with a judgment. You know, he might see something he doesn't like that I've done. But I hope not. But if that day happens, then I will accept that. I will accept the judgment of the Lord. I will say, okay, there's a reason he did this. There's a reason I'm going through this. So I have to be grateful and say, thank you, Lord, and just keep on getting up. But yeah, it's been a wild life up to here, up to now. And I'm grateful that I'm 64 and my brain works, and that even in the days when I'm having a funky day, I know I can count on the good Lord for being there to help me get out of them funky days. We're coming into Rosies here. I will drive on past so you can see it. If you see this red awning on the left-hand side, of course you can't see it because North Carolina is right up underneath our face. Turn a little slower there. There you go, turn a little slower. There you go, you can do it.